Today we're going to talk about the self-directed IRA. Let's look at a business example. Joe wants to start an electronics company. Joe needs funds to get started and approaches his friend Bill. Bill sees this as a good investment opportunity. Bill buys 200 shares of stock in Joe's company for $50 each, which is $10,000, and he uses his self-directed Roth IRA. Bill's Roth IRA is now a founding member of the new company. Bill's job is over, and he sits back and watches Joe build his company. Over the next 5 years, Joe does extremely well with the electronics company. Joe decides it is time to sell the company. Joe finds someone to buy the business and is offered $200 per share. Joe accepts the offer, and Bill's Roth IRA will receive its share of the profits. Bill's Roth IRA will make $150 per share on 200 shares. Remember, Bill bought the shares for $50 per share and is now selling for $200 per share, which is the $150 profit. Bill's Roth IRA will make $30,000. Bill will never have to pay taxes on the profits because he used his Roth IRA. The cash-on-cash returns of this investment over the 5-year period is 40%. Again, we'll give that a cha-ching. Does this sound too good to be true? Well, there are rules to follow, and the penalties are severe. We have what are called prohibited transactions. Your IRA cannot engage in any transaction with anybody or anything considered related to the IRA owner. If this happens, the IRA is completely and fully distributed at that time, meaning you have to pay taxes and penalties on the entire account. Now, who is related? The IRA owner, parents of the IRA owner, the children of the IRA owner, and the spouse of any of the above are related. Furthermore, a business entity where any of those listed above is a 50% or greater shareholder is considered related. However, there are loopholes. Now let's talk about prohibited transactions. Here are some examples of prohibited transactions. If I were to loan myself money from my IRA is fully distributed and I have a tax disaster on my hands. Now when I say fully distributed, let's say that my IRA had an account balance of $50,000 and I loaned myself $10,000. Well, you are penalized on the entire $50,000 even though you only loaned yourself $10,000 of it. So that's what it means when we say fully distributed. If my IRA loans money to a corporation of which my wife is the 100% owner, I have another tax disaster. Again, those are just a couple of examples. Now let's talk about taxes in an IRA. Under certain conditions, your IRA is going to have to pay taxes on profits generated by the IRA's investment. If an active business is owned by your IRA has to pay taxes on the profits generated by the business. However, your IRA is still allowed all deductions to offset profits. For example, let's say an IRA buys a property for $150,000 and puts down 30%, which is $45,000. 70% of the $150,000 is leveraged, meaning the IRA had to borrow $105,000. This means that 70% of the profits are subject to taxes. So when an IRA has to borrow money, they have to pay taxes, or the IRA has to pay taxes. After 2 years, the IRA sells the house for $172,000. The IRA makes a profit of $22,000. Now the IRA has to pay taxes on the leveraged portion, which is 70% of the $22,000. The IRA is allowed, however, to take depreciation deductions, interest deductions, and whatever other deductions you're allowed to take. Let's look at only depreciation into this account. The IRA is able to write off $10,000. So for tax purposes, the profit was reduced to $12,000, which is the $22,000 minus the $10,000 write-off. Now we're paying 70%. We're paying taxes on 70% of that $12,000 profit instead of the $22,000. So the 70% of the $12,000 profit is $8,400, and that's how much the IRA is taxed on. So let's look at the cash-on-cash returns. The total investment was $45,000. The actual profit is $19,000, which is $22,000 less the taxes that the IRA had to pay. The cash-on-cash returns, 21%. Now let's look at how to turn $3,000 into $200,000 tax-free. So for those of you that are sitting there thinking, well, my retirement account doesn't have that much money in it, how could I possibly make money using a smaller balance? Here's how. Let's say you have a Roth IRA with a $3,000 balance. You find a piece of property that you think is a good deal. 25 acres listed for $10,000 per acre, which is $250,000. Now obviously you don't have enough to buy the piece of land, but you do have enough to put a $3,000 option on the property with your Roth IRA. This simply gives your Roth IRA the right to purchase the property at a later date. Now let's say you know somebody who buys land. You talk to them and find out that they will pay $18,000 per acre. You do the quick math and determine that he or she will pay $450,000 for that piece of land. Your Roth IRA assigns the contract to the new buyer. What does this mean? This means your Roth IRA currently has the option to buy the land for $250,000. The buyer will pay your Roth IRA $450,000 for the land. He or she pays your Roth IRA the difference so that he or she can have the option to buy the land. He or she is simply paying your Roth IRA for the contract that it holds. At closing, your Roth IRAs cut a check for $200,000. The cash-on-cash returns, 6,000 plus %, assuming it took a year for this transaction to take place. Remember, there are no taxes paid with the Roth IRA. We'll give that a huge cha-ching. Now you have options. You definitely need to learn more. We have the Secret Retirement book. We also offer a Secret Retirement 3-day intensive training. You must decide today is the day you're going to take control of your own future. The sooner you discover what is possible for you and your family, the sooner you'll be able to take action and act on opportunities that others are using to acquire wealth.